Hey, good evening and welcome. I'm Scott Avery. If you look over this way, this is Provo, Utah, and Spanish Fork and all that down there. I'm broadcasting live tonight from Woodland Hills, Utah, and it's a relatively small community, but it's nice and luxurious. But tonight, what I really want to talk about is some of the interesting things that happened when I was caretaker of this beautiful hotel, which is partially just not there anymore. um, this was back in 2000, maybe. And, I would be the caretaker. I'd have to go out there and cut the weeds. I'd spray for the noxious weeds, keep the roads clear, cut the trees down that were going to block the roads, and that kind of stuff. But I got hooked up with Hot Lake. I was staying in a motel, and one of the girls when I was working at the radio station said that was her mom. So, like one Sunday, I had nothing to do, and I said, "Is there any historical places around in Eastern Oregon here?" And she said, "If you go about 13 miles down the road, there's this place that's called Hot Lake." And I was like, "Well, what's it about?" And she's like, "Well, there's this water that comes out the ground, like it, a couple hundred degrees, and they say it's haunted." Well, I was peaked right away when she said it was haunted. It was like, okay, so I'll go check this place out. So time goes by. My relationship with both the law enforcement agencies in the area and also the owner, our relationships grew. And so at night, I would go sit out there and, pick up AM broadcast from, far away and kick out the looky loos. You could almost time it. When they come into Boise, that's 180 miles. You could kind of figure by the time everybody got in the car on a Friday night, they'd leave at this time and show up at this time. And then uh, if they were coming from Portland, you could figure that that's a little bit longer trip. So you'd sit out there at night, and sometimes you would come across, these looky loos. We'll talk more about that because I'm going to make more videos about Hot Lake. I've got so much stuff. I could write a book. Anyway, uh, what I got from the community at the time was a feeling that nobody wanted to go out there. Not Farmer John, not his son Chris, nobody, not the intellectuals, nobody wanted to go out. If you were out there, you were out there for no good. And you would meet people in the community that you couldn't pay them to go out there. That's how bad it was. And I kind of felt sorry for this place because it was in dilapidated condition, much better than what you see it today. Some of these are historical photos you're looking at. Some of them are modern, up to date, and we'll talk more about the beauty and the architecture as we go along in this video series. So the only two people that I knew that would go out to Hot Lake uh, probably were just as crazy or had big kahunas like I did at the time. And so let's just say, for just a better sake of a name, one of them was name was Boyd, and let's just say the other one uh, was, let's just call him Kyle. So I would be sitting out there doing what I'm supposed to do, and here rolls up a police car. And in all the times that I was out, so you're meeting these guys, this Kyle and this Boyd dude, um, both very professional, right? You're meeting these guys at a haunted location for the first time in the middle of the night. Um, and as time went on, I had access to, well, wow, probably three different law enforcement agencies. One was just like 3 miles away. Um, but one night there was a vehicle parked there, and we figured that there was people in the property. And the property was so dilapidated at some points, you were liable to go from the third floor to the first floor without even knowing it, not even walking down steps because you would just fall through the rut. So I got in touch with the law enforcement to see what the options were. And was standing in the grand entrance. I'm talking about the room with all the pretty tiles on the floor. And their cars are parked to where one of them is facing into that room and the other car is parked right behind it, but on a different angle. So I'm talking to these guys, and they're standing between me and their cars, which was the grand entrance. I was standing closer to the desk. And as we were talking, one of the lights on the cruisers went out. And I thought, okay, that was funny. The steam's blowing and all that stuff. And then a second or two later, the other light went off, his headlight. So it came off, it went off, and it came right back on as if something had walked in front of it. Now, the two law enforcement personnel realized that there was just flashes because these lights were bright, right? And all of a sudden, one of them went off, and I looked at, I don't know if it was Kyle or Boyd, but I said, "Is there something the matter with your car's lights?" And he said no. And all three of us had pulled our sidearms at that point, walking back out the door. But I think that left an impression on those other guys, like they got called back out there. They would just go out there and sit for a while just to check traffic or just to take a break or whatever they had to do. That's the only reason that I met them. Um, we'll get into more stories, but that's an eerie thing. It's as if somebody had walked in front of the police cruiser and us, and we're talking like 30 feet away. So we never saw any shadows. We just saw the lights of the car act really funny. They shouldn't have been doing that. Anyway, I guess next time we'll talk about one of the looky loos who came in um, from Portland one night. Now that was funny. So stay tuned for that. I'm Scott Avery with Mr. Producer, and we're just starting out. This is our first stream, so like and subscribe and say hello. And we'll see you next time as we grow.